Today, I want to talk to you about Steak and Shake. And Steak and Shake is somewhere I worked when I was 16 years old. The reason I want to talk to you about it today is because lately, especially at the store at 71st and Woodland here in Indianapolis, I am having horrible service when I go in there. And so probably I'm not going to be going in there anytime soon. Instead, I'll go to the one on 86 in Michigan. But I want to tell you about what the problem is with Steak and Shake. It doesn't appear anyone in Steak and Shake corporate cares how their customers are being treated. Maybe at the very top, they're so busy opening new stores in other countries and other places, they don't care what's happening in the existing stores. At least that's the way it seems. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. I have been to that store multiple times, including for carryouts, because Steak and Shake does carry out. They did it when I was there. They also did curb service, which they don't do because now they have the drive-through, so that tells you how long ago it was. But the problem is when you go in to you place your order, whether it's online or by phone, and you go in to pick up your order and walk up to the counter, which is what you're supposed to do, nobody is usually there at this point, and this is lunchtime, keep in mind, and nobody comes up. You're ignored. You're totally ignored. Now, meantime, people come in to be seated. They're seated. People come through the drive-through. They're helped. But nobody is helping the people at the register. I saw a complaint online about people trying to pay their bill having the same problem. Now, personally, I haven't experienced that one, but I'm just talking about when I go for pickup orders for lunch to be quick. Try to get something quick. You can order online, that's great, but if nobody's going to help you when you get there, I don't understand the purpose. I don't understand why Steak and Shake feels it's appropriate to ignore customers, regardless of what they're there for or how they're ordering. If you're not going to ignore the ones walking in the door, don't ignore the other ones walking in the door. And usually the order's ready, but nobody's there to give it to you, and nobody cares that you're standing there. After about 5 minutes of standing there the last time, I finally, in a loud voice so they could hear me, but not angry, said, "Is anyone going to help the people at the register?" Because by that time, a couple people had lined up to pay their bills. And the people who were cooking the food and grilling the hamburgers, or excuse me, steak burgers, just looked over and then looked back at what they were doing. They didn't care. So it took another few minutes before one of the servers finally came up and helped me. And you know, once they do, they're nice and all that, but you shouldn't do that to your customers. And I think it's awful that Steak and Shake thinks this is acceptable. I mean, why is any customer ignored when they walk in the door? Now, here's part two. So then they give you a thing on your receipt or on a little piece of paper that says, if you want to share your experience, call this number. Well, don't bother, because I've now called twice in two different situations at that same store. Same kind of situation, but it's two different incidents, I mean. And nobody calls you back. I specifically asked for someone to call me back, a manager or district manager. Nobody has called me back. It's now been at least 2 weeks. They never called me back from the first one. So I don't know what the hell they're doing with this feedback, but it doesn't seem to be helping. Also, there's no manager in sight at this store. If they're there, I don't know what the heck they're doing or where they are, but they're not there to ensure customer service. And used to be that was the case. I never had this problem before, but just until the last year or so. And it's really too bad because I love Steak and Shake for a few items, not many, but a few. And I hate to have to not go there, but I'm not going to put up with that service. And they're going to lose a customer, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I just did a little looking on the internet, and people are saying the same thing. And sometimes they're treated very rudely by the staff. Now, I have not experienced that, and it's a good thing because they wouldn't like my reaction. But the bottom line is that if Steak and Shake is willing to ignore customers and let them stand there for 5, 7, 10 minutes while nobody helps them and everybody knows they're there, they don't need my business. So Steak and Shake, hopefully you will change and learn to listen to your customers and not ignore people. But in the meantime, you suck.